on is what we are wanting to do, and in what time frame are we wanting to crack this. Basis which we can form steps and we can form the strategies around the same for children of the Asian developing countries and the African countries together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Manisha, Shana, and I think that's why you're really worthy of the TEDx. Thank you, and it's like when you say pain to gain. We do appreciate what you said in terms of partnership is very important. As long as we believe that there's a force that pushes us around, and all we need to do is to be transparent and honest. Because what happened the next second, none of us know about it. So, you know, we all know that we're just walking corpses. And so in life, all we need to do is be straight, be honest, be sincere in our lives, and everything will follow. So I would also like to thank Sachin Soka, who is fantastic, who is very supportive to what we're doing. I also note we have Dr. Rosemary Najoba here. Also, you know, without a person of like Marcia and Savannah, and, you know, I wouldn't know where we are as an organization. They've been fantastic in terms of we've all been on this for over a year, like I said earlier. Even with the support of Dr. Parvez Sayat, who is here, who also is going to speak with us later. And then we have Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh is also with us here. And I also want to thank the brother for the earlier prayer. We have Alima, like I said earlier, with us. We have Dr. Anuja Salwaket. Thank you very much. And my very good friend, Switzerland. I mean, when he talks, you just want to listen. And that is my good friend, Frost, from Ken Frost from Switzerland, who will also speaking to us. We have Akshay here, Pascal, thank you very much for joining us, Salka, and who is part of us, what we're doing here, and Christopher, thank you very much for the initiative we just brought forward that we're now working on. So, and I want to just thank everyone, and also, like I said, from here, we can ask Dr. Appiah to speak with us, so that because we want to listen, and like we said, we're all trying to see how we can remodel the kind of curriculum, the kind of education, how powerful it's going to be. And that's why we pick up a theme that we just mentioned it briefly, you know, because we all talk about global South divide. This is a format they use over decades, maybe decades have been using it, global South, North-South divide. But unfortunately, the global North-South divide is increasing every day. And when COVID came, it increases more. And then you talk about fourth industrial revolution, it's going to be more increasing. And we need to close that gap. And that is one of the major objectives and mission of this organization. How we can close that gap between. And we know education plays a very important role. You know, and we also mentioned that if you look at it here in the UK, we had Richard Branson. He's one of the richest men in the world here in the UK, and he's never went to university. You know, we had someone who was a prime minister in this country. He never finished university. We have Bill Gates in the United States, the richest man. He never went to university. I mean, he fell out of school, of university. Same thing, the one that created Facebook that we're all using. He fell out of university. So there are some children who cannot follow the what they call it, the traditional education. But we don't create, we don't have any supportive mechanism that will also support such young people. So can you imagine how many of them are fall out? So that's why we cannot have a very prosperous world. So until we start planning for everybody, and we said one thing why we would appreciate what Alima is doing, which she's been doing in Dubai before, UAE, before she went to Maldives, is looking at the younger children, because every child has got something in them. God has created that every child is wealthy from birth, and that is the hobby that a child has. You know, but unfortunately, we have not planned with them to allow them to achieve those potentials, to turn their hobbies into wealth. That was one of the failures that we have in developing ourselves as human beings. But ever we create that education, which we're now being told that it's not fit for purpose, and that's why we have a fractured world. So I believe that people like Dr. Appiah are looking at these things very well and see how we can assess and also tell about the corridor. So I'd like to invite Dr. Appiah to please talk to us. Really appreciate you being on this forum, sir. Over to you, Dr. Appiah. Thank you very much, sir.
Good day, everyone. I know I'm speaking to people all over the globe, some in the morning, some in the evening. but from us in Ghana, it's afternoon. I'm very happy to be part of this meeting. I must say that it's been a difficult time trying to join or trying to engage myself in. Where a couple of weeks back, Emmanuel contacted me. In our discussion, I appreciated where he was coming from. I love to be part, but I'm somebody who doesn't want to join any group just because I want to join any stage. If I commit myself to do it, I want to do it and do it excellently well. So if I don't have space for it, I will never go for it. When I was growing up, I read people's biography and a whole lot of things, and then I see one person in this organization, in this group, in this society, in this thing, and I ask myself, how do they do that? Of course, I know the money to do it, but I don't want to put myself in any organization where I don't want to give the best. And so I was hesitant, but in a little bit of discussion going forward, I felt that maybe there's a flexibility for which my services will be needed. And therefore, I want to be part. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for the organization, and especially for looking at me and thinking that I have something to offer. And I appreciate that. I don't take lightly to that. I think it's an honor, and I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
On this note, I want to say that my name is Edward Appiah. I'm currently the Director General for National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, which we normally call NACA. Prior to this, I was with the University of Science and Technology. I've been Associate Professor in Design Education and Pedagogy. I've been there for the past 23 years. And I was called by the Minister for Education to come and help in the transformation agenda of the education. You know, Ghana, since 2018, decided to do some transformation and do reforms in our education. You agree with me that the kind of education that we've enjoyed maybe 30, 40 years back have rather moved into another era. We are in an age, technological age, education 4.0, 21st century skills are required, and therefore we need to do things that will transform society, not only now, but in the coming years. Things that we do today, I can assure you that in the next, not decade, but in the next couple of years, 3-4 years, it's becoming outmoded. Things will have to be changed. We therefore need to train children who are creative, adaptable, and can change their way of thinking when situations and conditions change. And that is what Ghana seeks to do. In our educational reform, NACA being the core or the champions, our mandate, let me say, come back to our mandate. We are responsible by the act established as to develop national curriculum and assessment standards for pre-tertiary education institutions, other than the technical and vocational institution, that is the STEM, the TVET services. So anything below the university, that is pre-tertiary education, as far as curriculum and assessment is concerned, we are championing it. Our vision is to develop world-class curriculum for quality education that will provide the Ghanaian child, or that will make the Ghanaian child become a global citizen. And this provision finds expression in the progressive realization of the best practices that we try to put together as an institution, just to develop a curriculum that ensures Ghana's children are lifelong learners, their heightened sense of national identity and global citizenship. In that course, we try to improve equitable access to education, not only the materials, but even the environment that will help develop pre-tertiary children, and to improve the quality of teaching and learning in science, technology, mathematics, and engineering. I mean, we are talking of STEM these days. So what do? We develop, assess, review, and even improve curriculum. We develop, improve national assessment standards, and then we make sure that we provide and approve teaching and learning materials that are good enough for our pre-tertiary education. And that is what we seek to do. In our activity, you agree with me that in education, we have what we call the CIA, Curriculum, Instructions, and Assessment. Interesting, assessment drives everything. We are in Africa where we develop the brain of the children and they can recite and memorize almost everything. However, that is not what is good enough. We need to have a Ghanaian child or an African child who does not just only memorize, but is adaptable and is able to create and recreate, especially in this technological age that we are moving. And so we are focused on changing our assessment that will suit the situation. And therefore, in the last 3 years, we've developed a new assessment framework, which involves assessment for learning, assessment as learning, and assessment in learning. What we believe is that the child don't need to wait until the end, summative assessment, before we can identify his or her capability. And so we make sure that even in our delivering, the pedagogy makes it such a way that the child, as he moves along, he assesses himself, peer assessment, and he sees assessment as part of his educational level. What we seek to do in the new framework that we are developing is to look at the gates, gifted and talented education. There are people, and I just heard that some of the people didn't even go to the university, not because they don't want to go to the university, but because they are not cut for the university. They are able to do certain things, which will give them leverage. But our education system might not have created space for them. But in what we are doing now, we are creating what we call inclusive education that brings on board every gifted and talented person at any level, at any position, so that he or she can exhibit his or her talent and become a useful citizen, not for only their country, not for the continent, but for the worldwide. And that is what we seek to do. And therefore, I'm very delighted to be part of this. And if there's anything that we can do in Ghana as far as education reform is concerned, education is concerned, we are ready to come on board and help train the global child. And this time is a global child, making him a global citizen that will be able to fit for any society that we find themselves. And on this note, I want to say thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here. Let us move on and change the dynamics of education, which have already been changed with the Education 4.0. Thank you very much.
I say one word, I'll say God bless you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the words that come from you. And first of all, you did say that you're one that when you look at the body, invite you to join them, you first look at it, what's the point of wasting my time? There's so many organizations. And that's a fact. There's so many organizations. And that's why also beat me all when they say that we are refractorable. We wonder the billions we spend, the time we spend, how come that even we have not been able to say we have a pass mark? It's quite unfortunate. But I'm amazed by some of the things you said. First, if I may ask Dr. Abia, do we have a body in Africa that on the issue of curriculum assessment, like a body, so that they can interrelate and share ideas, whatever, because that's a very important position which you're holding. So do you have a body? If we can ask quickly before I say this, if anybody also has something to ask you, they will be doing that. But do you have a body at the moment?
Yes, I'm happy. Assessment. Yeah, I'm happy to say that we have African Curriculum Association, a body that integrates all, almost, or I wouldn't say all, but it's an association that brings together curriculum and assessment institutions on the continent. I just came about 3 weeks, a month ago, I was in Uganda. The body met, the executive council met, and I was asked to be part. I wasn't part of the executive committee, but last year I was written to, and then my minister, who happens to be the patron of this body, asked me to be there. And so we met in Uganda about a month back, and we are looking at how best we can bring every curriculum institution on the continent on board and to make sure that we have curriculum that meets the African needs. So we have a body. We sit in the African Union, where we have a desk, and we are trying to work with the African Union to create a space for Curriculum and Assessment in Africa. So we have a body, and I'll be glad to probably link you to the chairman or the chairperson who happens to be the Director General for Curriculum and Assessment in Uganda. So we do have a body.
We really appreciate that. And do you know of anyone that is across developing countries that you work with, or you have an international? We know that it's not across developing countries, but maybe there's an international one which is feeding you from the West. Do you have something like that?
Well, I'm not in touch with, but we do have, but I'm not part of that. We are looking at African continent, but we do have. What even we are trying to do is to look at, we have the PISA organizations that administer assessment as far as science and technology is concerned. And I'm happy Ghana had been part, but Ghana exited that body, I think the way back in 2012. But the minister has agreed that we need to go back in. In about 2 weeks ago, I was in Azerbaijan as part of the board meeting for this international organization. And as I speak with you now, I will have to be on a webinar and about an hour ago with the governing body to discuss our activities as far as this is concerned. So that organization is there. But as far as Curriculum and Assessment Organization International is concerned, we are not part. We are just with the African Association.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before I quickly hand over to Silvana and Marcia, who will be working with us on aspect of the fact that you said you link us with the chairman of the African Union based on this curriculum, which is very important. I want to thank you for one fact when I said God bless you. The reason why I said that is that you refer the aspect that you take note of children that are gifted, and they're not just children that can memorize. Because from my research is that most of the time when you cannot memorize, it means you're a failure in education. And that's why I'm glad that you're also looking at that you don't have to depend on a child memorizing. And also to know from the children you deal with, because you said you want the gifted and talented. How do you know when they're gifted and talented? Does it mean you deal with them from nursery, primary like Alima is doing, or it's only when they now reach secondary high school? Because at that time, that talent they have at childhood is probably is no longer there. So do you deal with the children right from dealing that people that are doing kindergarten, growing up of children up to that level?
Yes, we deal right from the kindergarten to the senior high school level. And what we are doing, what Ghana is doing, right now we are doing what we call national standardized test. What it means that we try to assess the child in basic 2, basic 4, and basic 6. We are assessing them on their numeracy and literacy proficiency. Before then, a child will go to school, and then at the tail end of the junior high school, he's examined. And then when he fails in English and maths, he comes back to ground zero. But what Ghana is doing is that at basic 2, we assess every child. And as I speak with you now, we have done all that, the groundwork, and my technical team is currently doing our refresher training for assessors who from Monday will try to assess every child, private or public, in this country in basic 2. What we have included in our data assessment is to find out children who have gone to kindergarten and those who have not gone to kindergarten, so that we can check and see the influence of KG on their proficiency level. At the end of the day, we want to see what intervention that we need to provide them when they go to basic 3, so that when they get to basic 4, we can assess them and see whether they are picking up proficiency in terms of the numeracy and literacy. We'll put intervention again, or we'll ask you to put intervention, and then we'll assess them in basic 6. Now, in the course of these activities, we are looking at out-of-school children. And so now the government, with the support of the World Bank, is helping us also to assess or to educate out-of-school children, because these are people who might not necessarily be literate in terms of grammar or education, but they have the talents and the gifts for which we can integrate them into the mainstream education. So depending on the level of the child, when he or she is assessed, we will just have to integrate him to the mainline stream. Of course, the government also wants to Now we set up what we call the CBE, which used to be the non-formal. It's now converted into complementary education agency, and they are looking at out-of-school children, children who have dropped out, who by the nature of the African society, they may be in their traditional homes, they may not go to school because their families are in the field working. And so we are also looking at them. And when we get to know these students and we are able to assess their talents and their gifts, and we think that we can put them in the mainstream education, we are able to do that. So basically, the gifted and talented is not just at the high school level, but right from KG and primary, we want to see the talent that we can bring on board to help them. Some of them might not even have to spend the 6 years in the basic school. They may have to probably be given accelerated education because they are people who might not necessarily be part of their year group. Such children, if you keep them there, you are just wasting their talent, and you therefore have to accelerate their growth. And the curriculum that we have developed and we are running on makes space for some of these children, and that is what we seek to do now.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm sure the Lord we can learn from you. I would like to bring you back again to one of our forums, if time permits from your end. At this stage, maybe Marcia will want to put a word because she'll also be working with you in terms of getting the Africa Union heads there so that we can work together, and also in our research center. Marcia, you'd like to come in there, please? Marcia.
So good to have you here, Edward. Thank you for making the time. Now, Abdul, it's really good to have you here. Now, if you want to join it, it would be lovely. We do innovation and creativity as part of our curriculum of being together. So it's like we are both ASGOD Research Facilitation Innovation Network, as well as a great musical. When we look at the scientific aspect of biomimicry, and we're looking at the biosemiotics in studying science and how we actually relate to one another, how we interconnected. This is how we do it. So I'm going to ask our dear Emmanuel and Abdul that you do like welcome Ghana to ASGO. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome Ghana
to ASGO.
In as simpler Ghana in ASGO in Ghana saying Ghana 1, 2, 3, 4 ASGO in Ghana. Emmanuel, come on.
Yeah, problem with your internet.
1, 2, 3, 4 ASGO in welcome ASGO in Ghana, Ghana in ASGO. Come on, Emmanuel.
Welcome ASGO in Ghana. That's amazing.
ASGO in Ghana.
That's amazing.
We are together like never before. So we want to say the education in Ghana is so dear to our heart, like the whole world, so that the children will learn self-learning, facilitated ways of innovating and thinking of all. Everyone is similar, unique, contributing to this beautiful world. So that is life itself in diversity. And then we work in sustainability together for equality and equity, so the whole world can enjoy pedagogically. This is so beautiful. For love is for everyone by everyone. This is real democracy.
Thank you very much, Marcia. Thanks a lot, Marcia. Appreciate it. All the way leads to Ghana in January to mark the International Day of Education. I think, Marcia, you're still on. Sorry to come in. Go on, Marcia.
I just want to share with our dear family that yesterday, actually, day before yesterday, I was at the House of Commons, the Parliament. I was in Parliament for an event on culture and leadership on Wednesday, the 23rd of November. So it was historical because I took with myself the only 2 Black people present. and invite them, because I was invited by a friend, was invited by the organizers, and so forth. So what I did at the time that we talk about heritage and language, because the UN is going to have from 2023 for 10 years looking at indigenous languages, the importance of our diversity of thought and communication and history and heritage. Anyway, in that context, the speaker was speaking about how invaders like Russian and in history, Aztecs, in the context in which people hijack language or forbid language. So I took the space to say that on behalf of that was a historical moment, on behalf of my Portuguese ancestors and English ancestors and Irish ancestors, I apologize in Parliament for those atrocities committed during colonialism and slavery. And since that time until today, that equality has not been delivered. So I apologize to also my ancestors, the indigenous people and the African people that are all embedded in me, and to my colleagues. So we join hands. Because what happened is, I explained to them, one of the persons speaking about chess, playing chess. And I told them when I was a child, 8 years old, I refused to play chess with my father. And he says, well, you haven't learned, you don't know where to put the pieces. I said, no, I refuse, I don't want to. But he said, show me at least how you put the pieces on the board. And I did a circle with the black and white all together, because I'm a pacifist and a peace ambassador, and I do not agree to war. So yesterday, there was a day before yesterday, they were speaking about that. So I historically said, we democratic in this circle can start the reparation and restitution process. We need to go to a stage in which the museums return and where payment is made and all those things. And we are the ones who can do that. If government has not apologized, I apologize on behalf of the people, for the people, to the people, with all my love. And then it was a historical moment. And I offer that to this group as well, that this is my small legacy of being someone who have inherited multiple cultures. And on the point that you were making, Abdul, to complement what Edward was saying, memorize is important, the legacy and heritage is important, as well as innovation, creativity, and be able to create a future that's very different from the past, so everyone can live in peace, equality, and then create a future that is going to be envisaged by this generations to come. So thank you very much. We are together on this.
Thank you very much, Marcia. I do appreciate that for also your contribution. I'd like Dr. Winston speak to us, but before then, we'd like to see whether Alima wants to speak. Alima, if you don't mind, let Dr. Winston, the words of wisdom. We'd like to hear Dr. Winston talk. And Alima, please, you're still very much with us. So after Dr. Winston, we'd appreciate you to speak to us before you go to your next matter. Also, please kindly know on this platform that we're very flexible. If you have other engagements you need to deal with, please just raise your hand up and we'll take note of that so that we can give you time to speak before you attend to other pressing matters. So we'll ask Dr. Winston, and after Dr. Winston, we'll ask Dr. Alima to speak with us. Over to you, sir, Dr. Winston. And once again, recently marked his 80th birthday. It was wonderful, fantastic, and I won't have to speak for him, but let him speak on now, as we appreciate him a lot. So we will talk to Dr. Anuja will also come in later, so that at least after Dr. Alima, Dr. Anuja will come in. But now we have Dr. Winston to speak with us. Thank you very much, sir.
Don't worry, today is Friday, my holiday. So there is no.
Fantastic, yes. Fantastic. So then after Dr. Winston, we call Dr. Anuja to speak with us. Bless you, Dr. Alima. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Winston. Over to you, Dr. Winston. We're waiting for you to speak to us.
Hello.
Can Dr. Winston listen to us there? While we're waiting for Dr. Winston, can we quickly, Dr. Anuja, you can speak with us, please. Thank you.
Hello. Myself,
we can hear you.
Yeah, myself, Dr. Anuja Salvatkar More from Maharashtra, Mumbai. And currently practicing at my own clinic, Jarayu Ayurveda and Panchakarma Yoga Clinic, at Mumbai. So basically what I am interested is in giving the health to the people holistically. Holistically means what exactly? Right from the root cause. So what we do in our treatment is panchakarma. Panchakarma is basically detoxification treatment in which we clean the body thoroughly so that the disease do not erupt again. So this is how we give health to the people holistically and naturally without any complications or without any harmful effects to the body. And all we also practice yoga at our clinic, and diet consultation is also there. So this is how we give Ayurveda to people, and my aim is that all people from means traditional knowledge of health should pass on to generations or to the other countries, and the knowledge from other countries should also come to us so that the health to all will reach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very short and brisk. But I want us to also know that as we invite Dr. Pabes, I just want to mention that yoga is very important. The Prime Minister Modi took issue of yoga to United Nations, and there's a day that's been passed by the General Assembly for Yoga Day. And we as an organization are also working towards a situation whereby if you go to school or you go to work, they'll give you 30 minutes an hour to practice yoga, so that at least end of the day you could go back into yourself, literally whatever you call it, before you settle to work. And I believe you're more productive. So that's one area which we believe that we need to bring into schools as well as into workplace. When you get, before you settle down to work, you practice yoga, and that will help you a lot to be able to, what I call it, focus on what you're doing. And at the end of the day, you're going to be very more productive. So we believe very much in yoga. Thank you very much, Adu, and that very short and brisk. Thanks. And now I'd like to call a very important person in the organization. Is a man of action. And you don't joke with him. Well, maybe it's because of his background as the Director General of the Police in India, and what he has done a lot for many organizations, ensuring that banks keep their books, ensuring there is sanity, there is what I call accountability in the office work as well as in organizations. So I want to call Dr. Pabes to speak with us. Dr. Pabes, hi, you're most welcome. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Pabes.
I'm audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Loud and clear.
Actually, I was on the webinar. That was the physical discussion on the higher education and also on the cyber crime. So whole day I was very busy. So I wanted to speak. So I would like to speak on the digitization of the higher education across the globe, and what are the advantages and feature, and what exactly are the challenges. Before I speak on that, I'm a man of climate action. I will just take 1 minute to say, when you are talking about the global south, the divide, just see in this COP27, it has very cosmetic and very, very disparaging result and outcome, sadly. And for the first time since the movement for climate action for reducing and tackling the climate change started, we have been talking about, the Paris climate, and after that, the migrating from fossil fuel to non-migrating fuel. But this time, the developed countries succeeded, and the oil lobby also, they succeeded to strike down the world. So there is, in the final document, the mention of fossil fuel has been deleted. So that is one. And number two outcome, that climate green fund, it was provided Paris climate, and it agreed in Glasgow as well, $100 billion. Nothing is coming. Just you have a couple of, I spoke to the person who is heading in the head of the climate green fund at Korea. Finally, it has been also thrown into the bag. Thrown means almost deleted, sadly. And they have just agreed to cost and damage. Means whatever they have accepted, developed countries, that whatever damage they have done to the environment, a little bit of money will be given to the developing countries and the African countries. That too, the mechanism and time frame has not been defined. Anyways, in coming back to the education, As we all know, after the COVID, a term being frequently used called new normal. What is the new normal in the case of education is the increased use of online learning tools. The COVID-19 has triggered the new ways of learning all around the world. Educational institutions, schools, higher education, they are looking to continue the process of education transformation. So online learning, of course, the digitization, globally, the field of education, digitization does offer incremental economic growth, and countries who are at the most advantaged stage have been they're getting benefits more than the derive benefit more than 20%. Then the countries who are still at the initial stage. At the same time, the digitization has, of course, proven its impact on reducing the unemployment and improving the quality of life, and also the boosting the citizen access to the public services. So I would like to just quickly go through what are uh, in the public discourse and different experts, they are educational experts talking about the access, the advantages of that these online learning and the digitization. First is the efficiency. Online learning, of course, offers teachers an efficient way to deliver lessons to the student.
Dr. Perez, how many minutes should we be expecting you to speak, please?
Pardon?
How many minutes should we be expecting you to speak? Another 5 minutes?
5 minutes, yes.
Few
points. Online education, efficiency of the teachers, because they have been using the learning tools such as video, PDF, podcast. It does help to the teacher. At the same time, they have the time and space. One can, a student can access to the online education from home, from any part, navigating to the geographical boundaries. Additionally, the online lectures are also available, recorded. They can be shared, archived for future reference as well. Affordability, of course, the online education is very, very affordable, and vis-a-vis the physical learning. This because the online learning need the cost of point, student transportation, student meal stay and all. Then third point is the improved education student. Whenever I will take some classes, as a pro-noble classes to the student in Austria on climate change, I find that when there is an online classes, there are more students attendance. And also it does provide them a very flexible and multitasking tool. They can have the many options and resources, use the podcast, both the attachment, PDF and all that. Talking to the challenges of the online education, the one is the inability to focus on the screen. With the long hours of getting glued, the student, higher student, or even the lower education, the learning, there is also a greater chance of student to easily distract by social media, by other, illicit, those illicit content at times. So when the teachers have to keep them very engaged, it has to be a more and more interactive education. Technology issue, as right now also twice we got disconnected by, although in India we have got 12% internet density in the rural area, but in the urban area it is 44%. Still, I mean, in Delhi and Bombay we have got 90%. We can say that we have the internet density and connectivity is available. Still, you find at many places, even in my own house, if I go to the balcony, I'll find that the availability is there, but it is very disruptive. So these technology issues are there. And at times, the people from the disadvantaged family, as we seen during the COVID and after that also, they have suffered enormously. The parents have suffered. The people have sold the source of livelihood. So that is also, and the sense of isolation. The sense of isolation. There is no connect between the teacher and the students. And also, it is very, very, at the same time, in certain developing countries and the underdeveloped countries, we find that the teachers training, they are not so much trained in the digital education. At times, they have to, So coming back, what is lacking in the whole legislation? Now, what is happening as per the Gokul school, I find there are so many universities that are coming up with the very short time, even informal PG program and all that. So this is having 1 or 2 degree in 1 year. So all the coming up, and the emotion, what physical interaction. When the student go to a foreign university, they come to India, they come to Nigeria, they come to US. So the scope of multi-cultural interaction learn about each other, which is not possible in online culture. Likewise, the uh, the social skill, they do have software learning, but not the social skill and not the emotional skill. Learning emotional skill is very important to deal with the situation, either private sector or the government sector. Since like I am from the Indian Police Service, we know in the faculty there is to be a teacher, a professor, psychology professor. We also learn emotional aspects of how. So with better to have now smart university, virtual university, so many universities to a hybrid model of education, so that the points I've talked about is taken care. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, so much, Dr. Appiah. Dr. Thank you. Really appreciate Dr. Pervez. I know that, like I said earlier, nobody would doubt the fact that you're a man of action, and like you rightly also said, believe much in COP, that is area of climate change. Like we said, the one concern is how we can actually ensure that the promises are being made, every year, and that every meeting that being held is not a jamboree. Like I said, I took part in the COP22, which was in Morocco, and we seem to be saying the same thing all over. It's like the old wine in a new bottle. And now we've had Egypt, although some of the media has reported that there's some level of some hopes, particularly from the African angle towards the COP this time out. But how do we realize that we ensure that actually we can be able to make a much difference? We see the earthquake that just happened in Indonesia. Quite a lot of people, lost their lives. I mean, the quantum of the wave of the soil, is quite very painful, and some believe and some don't believe. So there's still the issue of how we deal ensure that we can maybe quickly intervene there on what can make a difference when you talk about climate change.
Definitely, the developed countries are remotely just cosmetic conferences, COPs 27 and all that. It is a sad commentary. I think they are just not serious either in sharing the technology. They don't want the developing countries or the underdeveloped countries to come to that level, So they are just not serious. But how, when the world fossil fuel has been removed, the green climate fund, they've agreed to provide $100 billion each year. The procedures of approaching to this fund, the procedure they have made is so tough that so far hardly a couple of $1 billion have been utilized by the developing countries. It is a sad commentary. So with this I end. We can have a different talk on climate change, some other forum, and then we can talk, take much needed. But it is an outcome at Egypt, as Shams said, is a sad commentary and bad for the setback for the developing countries and the African continent. That's what I wanted to bring to your notice, where the ASEAN can play a role at the global level. Thank you very much.
Very much appreciate that. And that's why we said that some years back, we have the president of Tanzania who was using what you call the SAD Commission. The SAD Commission was to help to reduce this global, global North-South divide. And then it was the SAD Commission that led to what we call non-aligned movements. And the non-aligned movement now went into also what you call the South Center. And the South Center is even based in Switzerland. It's not based in any part of the developing countries, such as even the UN of the South Corporation is based in Switzerland. It's not even based in developing countries. So it's still that you have, even when you talk about mining, which is very, very important in Africa, which is at least, because when we talk about Africa, being very wealthy, it's because of natural resources, which basically is on mining of gold, mining of uranium, and the rest of it. But at the end of the day, it's an international standard that is being used for even developing countries. So there's a lot of issues there. And that's what we're trying to do in 1955 by trying to bring developing countries together. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So that this, even the developing countries, with the Global Site Vice Association and Research Center we're creating, can create a new model. And I'm very happy what Dr. Appiah said to us here, that they are actually looking at all to ensure inclusive education that can carry on young people. So thank you once again, Dr. Parvis. So, gentlemen, I'm going to ask a very good friend, very creative person who is going to really blow our minds, and that is a very good friend, Dr. Ken Frost from Switzerland, to speak to us now. Ken Frost, over to you, sir.
Oh, good afternoon. You'll have to forgive me. I've got a little bit of a flu bug, so my conversation might not be as eloquent as normal, or maybe better for that matter. But I'll just go through my views on some of the things that have been said. I often find myself at complete odds with pretty well everybody else on a panel. I find the conversation somewhat tardy and a little bit repetitive, and I might as well be sitting in the room 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, going round in circles, just listening to the same people, getting older and saying the same things, really. The same problems existed a long time ago, and the same catalysts were there all this time. And we can all do our little bit and think we're doing something, but I think anyone who's got a brain half on duty at the moment realizes we're going through a massive change in the world in the next 10 years. And that means because of artificial intelligence, AI, because of digital revolution, everything is going to change. Depending on where you're sitting right now, if you're sitting in India, it's going to be difficult to possibly see the consequences of that. If you're sitting here in Zurich, you're seeing the consequences of that today. You see people coming out of work. Places like Deutsche Bank, 18,000 people coming out. Credit Suisse, 5,000. Different, Novartis, chemical company. You're talking about pharmaceutical rather. Talking about 10,000 people coming out of work. You're starting to see many people across Europe coming out of work. And that is not their ability to get another job. That just won't be there because their industry is going, their career is going, their identity is going. That's the beginning of a massive social problem that is going to affect everybody, because you're going to see a destabilization of government. You're going to see a destabilization of the economy, of everything that we have accepted for the last half century, a century. It's all going to change. And when we start talking about things like, I'm going to pick on it, global warming, I'm sorry, that is just very much a red herring right now. You might as well be talking about, I don't know, you could talk about the moon for all I care. You need to be talking about what's going to be happening right around the corner, not what's going to be going 10 miles down the road. It's right here and now, and it's happening to people. And if you start to look at what you want from the future when it comes to education, and there was Professor Eddy talked about the fact that we need to be looking at new skills for education. You've got to ask the question of what are these kids going to be doing for a job? And if you're going, well, what new skills do they need in those jobs? Now, I've been spending the last 4 months interviewing people all over the world who are CEOs, people who are World Economic Forum, God bless their socks, they're about as stupid as you can get. And I haven't met a sensible one so far from that lot. But nonetheless, they are trying to do something within their scope of understanding, which is incredibly low, by the way. I cannot put it in any other way. Their bandwidth of thinking and their collective understanding of humanity and its potential virtually is nothing. What we are is on the threshold of a human evolution, and that will be a catalyst through AI, will propel us forward or propel us into the darkness, one or the other. And it's incumbent on people like yourselves to start to buck up and look at that and start to see it in a way for what it is. There are two kinds of people on this planet. There are those that sing and dance around the old bonfire, smoking wacky backy and singing spiritual songs, kumbaya. And there are those that have money and power and love money and power for its own wants and need. And those do not mix as people. So you can want peace and love all you like, but you're not going to get it. You've got to start to recognize that the world has been run by very low frequency people for a very long time, and they have no intention of giving up that. And they want to suppress everybody else because of it. And they have always wanted that. Africa has been the whipping boy of that for a long period of time with colonial powers that have basically stripping the assets of Africa, and Africans don't get a look at. It is a time for revolution, re-evolution. And you guys have to start looking at that and start seeing it for what it is. It's a spiritual re-evolution as much as it is a social one. And it's going to take quite a lot of effort for a lot of people to get their heads around that, because they're going to find it quite difficult to really navigate the future in an effective way. And for our children, the people who are at school at the moment, 16, 17, looking at doing courses in legal, accounting, banking, in industries that just aren't going to be there in a few years. How are they going to feel? They're going to feel robbed. They're going to be felt that they've been actually sold down the road in a future that was not relevant. The future of humanity is in our ability to work together, to learn to be critical thinkers, creative problem solvers, empathetic, understanding people who can co-create, because we need something called agile thinking. And if we've been born into what we've been born into, which is what's called a construct, which is basically a system that suppresses people into a work system to serve a pyramidal system of power that is now no longer needing those people because they will be replaced by AI, then you're in a position where we are fighting for our lives, fighting for our planet. For the first time in our lives, we're starting to realize that we've been robbed all this time of our potential and told that we didn't have any. And we've been suppressed in our minds, and our school kids are being suppressed. The science is there. Since the age of 5, 98% of school kids have got a genius level of innovative creative capacity. By the time they get to 25, 31, that's down to under 2%. That means that they're being psychologically lobotomized, and they have been since year dot. That's what the educational system does for people. It ruins their brains to a point after the age of 30. They have psychological difficulties, physiological difficulties. We live in a very sick world because of the way it's structured. But that is coming to a change. All the chips are coming out onto the table. Everything's going to become transparent, because even what you think will start to be read by AI and the powers that be that control it. Once your mind is being read, all your secrets, all your thoughts, everything that you don't want to be shown the world, all your searches and whatever you've done in the background will all come to the front. And I'm afraid we're going to go into a world of full transparency. And I don't care about identity fraud and all that sort of stuff. That's all going to be irrelevant. It's about you coming forward and realizing that we're going into a telepathic period. And the only reason that we've never been telepathic so far is we've all got our little secrets that we think are very special to us. But ultimately, we all have the same kind of thoughts. It's just how extreme they are, really. So as we go forward into this conversation, it's really knowing and putting on the table, you know, what is it that we're trying to achieve? For who and why? Are we trying to play with the players that have been playing this game for a very long time in their own structures? In other words, we're going into a gambling den where they own the table, they own the cards, they own the dice, they own the chairs, and they even own your brain because they've been owning it for a very long time. And you're still playing that game. Or are you going to go into a new beginning where we start to have a relationship with AI, where we start to expand consciousness in a way that we've never thought possible? And that is already there. And I would suggest, cordially, that we focus on, with the young people, giving them an education that allows them to have the agility of mind to meet challenges that we cannot even comprehend. And that has to be where their thinking is much, much quicker than it is at the moment. And their thinking is incredibly agile. And that should be the only thing we should be focusing on, because outside of that, it's just a little bit of hearsay. It's a little bit of just going around in circles, really.
Oh, thank you very much, Ken. We really appreciate your contribution there. And you were with us last week when we have, and I did respond, you know, and from what you just said, while you speak, you still speak the kind of thing we're trying to do. So you probably say, we're not on, at the same time, we're on. I did mention to you last time, I want you to know that this body understands that some years back, Jack Ma, the richest man in China, he did say that very soon a lot of people are going to lose their job. And what we should be doing is about thinking. because the robots will not think. It's a human being that will think. And you've also rightly mentioned here about creative thinking. So basically, when you have what we're doing, so this is not a talk shop in what we've just done. What we've done here is to bring people, speak about themselves, their expertise, and see how they can add value to what we're doing. We've been on for 10 years now, the organization, 12 years. We've set up this body for over a year now. You say, if you don't involve, and like I mentioned last time to you, we live in two worlds. We need to bring into one, and that is both the civil society and the government. They need to work closer together. Because at the end of the day, who is government? It's still the people that fund that system of governance. So what we're talking about is the system of education. And there's nobody that argues that we do not have. That's why there needs to be changes. And you've just had the Director General in charge of curriculum and policy, which even talk about not usually looking at people who memorize, and they have a body. So there's nothing that is 100% perfect. It's a matter of building up. And you also even said partnership. So you've given the answer, at the same time you're negating all the efforts that have been put together. So we have been sitting here, meeting every month to bring people, every week, to bring people who can come up with different ideas. You come up with some idea, at the same time, some, might probably look at it and say, you're probably writing everything off. You're writing things off, at the same time, you give it the answer, which is part of what we're talking about here. And that's why we're taking our time to ensure that we have the right people to work within the research center we're creating. There's so many research centers. There are many people that even said what you said. So it is not a matter of saying whatever the same thing, because at the end of the day, it's all of us working together. And it's been said by the panel, high-level panel of the United Nations, they said renewed global partnership, people-centered policies. That is the thing that can actually help us to move forward. There is no way the world is going to go to ruins as long as there are people who are thinking. And you mentioned it, creative thinking. So definitely, whatever we do here is that how can we ensure that we can lay a solid foundation for our younger generation and the one unborn? That's part of the system. That's part of what we carried on. So just for you to understand that the forum that we have created, because the first thing you did when you came in was to say what we said, as we said about 20 years or 10 years ago. No, that's not the issue. Because we want very frank here so that we know we have a directive of how the body is running and to ensure that we can accommodate any views. We're open to ideas. End of the day, all we're doing is about how can we unify. There is nothing like say some people created education. It's been there for years. But all we're saying is that it has not worked well. We didn't say it. It's a World Economic Forum. And everybody agrees. We have a 3-point solution. It's online with the United Nations. It's right there. So we're working closely. We cannot throw the UN off. There has to be a body. There has to be an organization. Let's see how we can understand each other and work together. We're all one person. We're all one Lord. One love will create a better society. And that's what we're saying. So we should not do because some people don't have the knowledge, we don't write them off because there are areas that have potentials. What we do is to look for those areas, the potentials they have, and see how we can bring it on board. Everybody is gifted. Everybody has got something. So we are very open to bring everybody along. Everybody's got one body area. It's only when we work collectively and appreciate each other, then we can really move on. We should not leave a sector and say they're not useful, they're useless. So everybody is important. So we wait and see. That's why we call people here. Speak to us. Let's do a SWOT analysis on you. Let's look at your strength and see how you can bring that value into what we're doing here. So I want to thank you very much for what you said here. I know you are very strong and committed to what you say, but you still said the answer, which you believe in. But some of the things you said here, some might not understand. But I know you know. Partnership, you said it, because I quote what you said here is exactly what we're doing here. Creative thinking. Jack Ma said it. These robots will take the job of lawyers, will take the job of so many people. We're thinking, and that's why we're talking about the research center we're going to do. We're going to put it, and I said it earlier. There are so many research centers. We said, we are going to make sure we don't do the same thing, but we have to work together. Why did they say we are a fractured world? It's been said, and we all agree. But 3-point solution will give you. If you want to get a 3-point solution, I'll tell you right there. Think about it. Maybe you have better ideas. We'd like to take it. Our 3-point solution is one. We have to review the issue of internationally human rights across the world. That international human rights, we have to review it. Because a lot of young people are marginalized. Let me give you an example quickly on the issue of employment. On the employment level, a lot of young people are in debt to get a university degree. By the time they're in there, they come out, they have to go and look for jobs. Maybe 30 times like Jack Ma did, never got the job, but every time they have to borrow money to look good, to presentable at the interview. Then again, after they've taken about 3, maybe 2 or 3, in terms of someone giving them, how do you call it, for some references, giving 2 or 3 references, then they get the job. Guess what? They have to work for 30 days before they get paid. They have to look for money for those 30 days to keep that job. So end of the day, what do you expect? They never perpetually in life, they are in debt. That has to change. That is part of what we say. When you talk about human rights, we don't want to believe that's human rights. But if you look at the employment law itself, that's part of what this organization is working. It's a systematic thing. You have to be strategic. You have to be very, not just creative, but you have to bring everybody along to understand that we all want. It's not going to be easy because it took a long time before the world got to the state where it is. It's going to take a while before it gets to a change. So we have to be very patient, honest with ourselves, be truthful to ourselves, and carry each other together, believing that everybody's got something in there. And that is the only way we can move forward as a body, as an organization, as a whole world that we're talking about. So basically, if we're able to have that, and we have the same talking about with experts like you and the rest of us, we can then start to find out. And that's why when Dr. Appiah spoke here, and he said that, he said, I will link you with the chairman in the African Union on curriculum. And that is one of the areas that we want to open up. The more we start to understand ourselves that we're in one world, friendly, happy, try to achieve something for the future of our children, then we can. Totally we can do it. So that is, I want you to understand what we're saying, what our organization is, and how we can all work together. And I can tell you, in the next 5, 10, 15, 30 years, it might not change, but let's create the environment, the enabling environment for change. That's what we're trying to do. So thank you very much.
I take exactly what you said. I understand exactly why people are here. I just would feel that it would be better placed if we all stood from the same song sheet and we all started to understand what's really going on in the world, rather than playing tiddlywinks with it. I believe that, yes, things will change in the next 10 years, without a doubt. But I would suggest that that's going to be regardless of what we do here. But we can have some position to guide that if we're all in the right position to understand what's really going on. And you know that I know that. And so therefore, I'm not against people coming together like this in the slightest. I'm very much an advocate for it. I've been working on it for many years. And I would like people to come together, but I really appreciate that the true future of humanity is in our potential and realizing it's been suppressed down. And once we release it, we can start to work together. But unfortunately, we are fractionalized. There's one word that you have said here today, that we're fractionalized all the time. Everybody's not sure whether they're going to go one direction or another, self-serve or universally serve. And it's got to be for the human race at the moment, I'm afraid. And we've already got to come together. That's why I'm here. And that's why I want to work with you, mate. So, thanks very much for your time and the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I think we all continue to be very positive because that's the only way we can have a better world. Thank you once again, Mr. Frost. So here I'd like to call on Dr. Rosemary Radkumar to please speak with us, please. Dr. Radkumar.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are. My name is Dr. Rosemary Nachijoba. I'm in Uganda. I work at Mutesa Wandera University as a faculty dean. Well, for me, my few points today, I want to talk so much about young children and young people with disabilities. I'm not sure I am seen. Does everyone see me?
Yeah, we can see you, although it's dark, but we can see you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I want to talk so much about the young children.
Let's not by yourself. Sorry to cut in place. Let's not by yourself and who you are, your expertise, and how you can add value to what we're trying to do as an organization.
Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Dr. Rosemary Nachijoba.
Because we believe we like when people talk about disability, we're learn how to deal with issues of disability because we believe that disability is not inability. And people need to listen more because anybody can be disabled any second. So when we have people who want to speak about it, we appreciate you. So you can mention a bit about whatever you want to say regarding that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, for me, I have seen that wherever I am in my country, of course, children with disability and young persons with disabilities have been left out. They are actually a forgotten category of persons somewhere. When you look at how COVID-19 impacted on young people who were in school, many of them could not continue to access education because you find the different form of disabilities they have could not allow that. For me, I want us to think further. How can we have more young people brought on board to access the education system? Because first of all, very few of them reach higher education. In fact, there are higher education institutions where you don't find even 5 or 4 persons with disabilities. Where are they? Where do they disappear? Because for me, I think it comes from the traditional way of thinking, the way we treat persons with disabilities, even when they are still very young, and we deny them access to education. So what can we do different to bring them on board? Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Very short and straightforward. Regarding that, we know that in the western part of the world, there are a lot of legislation that supports people with disability. There's so much funding also to support people with disability, and less in Africa. But however, we will be looking more at that, not just for Africa, but also developing countries regarding that. And I'm glad that the last 2 meetings we had, it was issue we raised. And also, even though disability, we look at labeling. Labeling is a very big problem. And for instance, when somebody is black, somebody is white, for God's sake, it's just one red blood. And so when you say black, they say black is bad and white is good. So there is a lot of labeling in the third world, which is the first and second world. So we've already created a forum. We have, what's the name, Cheryl and Roy, Troy, they are to form a committee that will be looking at labeling, because that itself negates a lot of things and does not have young people to actually explore or be able to realize their potentials because they've been labeled. So that labeling itself comes mostly from the West, and we're looking at it, and gradually we start to ensure that we have at least to appreciate human being, people, wherever you come from, so that issue of labeling will now be reduced to having to negate people or be what we like to regress people who are trying to develop themselves. So we're looking at that, and that also liaises the issue of disability. Well, is that the name we should be giving? Everybody has one form of disability in them. So the name they gave it to it, so these are issues we need to be looking at also when the research center is being formed. So let me call on Dr. Thank you very much again, Rosemary from Uganda. She's head of faculty of a university well known in Uganda. I call on Dr. Rajkumar, who's the man on issue of science and technology right there in India. Over to you, Rajkumar.
Good evening, President, and good evening, one and all. It's a privilege to be part of this conference and also the meeting today. Myself, Dr. Rajkumar, I'm a computer science teacher, a professor. I teach virtual reality, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence. These are the 3 things I teach. And apart from that, I'm also doing writing. So I have written a book called India 2030. So the book has the complete vision of India, how the India should be there at 2030. So including everything, for example, human values and economics, studies, sports, medicine, and also the especially for the technologies. So I have covered. So apart from that, to myself and Abdul, actually we have, we have connected some mutuals understanding, because I talk about always innovation, and Abdul sir also he always prefer to be innovative, and so that thing actually the main thing we have connected, and I just want to convey 2 things for the overall today's scenario. One thing is, technology is the, we have connected so far by using the technology only, because we cannot avoid the technology. but how we can improve the human values by using technology. That's a very good thing. We have to use it across our countries. We have to use it because nowadays the students are, the young generation are playing the games. The game is so violent. We are thinking, we are just talking about the values, but the students are completely spoiled their studies, and their habit is completely changed because of the games, and their entertainment is completely different. If I'm talking about below 20 years age people, they are completely living their own world. So that is not a good thing they are going to happen. So first of all, we have to concentrate on their own behavior, especially with the human values. So I myself, I'm initiating some of the things which we can give the games, via games, how we can teach the human values. Let's say, for example, many people maybe have introvert persons. So how the introvert can be, because in a stage or anywhere, the talking is the very big thing for the children. So how to talk with the other person, how to talk the conversation from that, and how to face the problems, and how to collaborate with the team, and how to make a successful team player. So these are the things, basic qualities we have to make it initially by using technology. So this is what the first proposal. And my second proposal is, for collaborative research. So you are all experts on your fields. So how we can collaborate, and then how we can do our best in terms of giving our good results to the society. So that's what two agendas I just want to propose. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Rajkumar. And I'm sure that you would note some of the things that Ned Frost said earlier before you, and that is the aspect that we don't have to be very creative, because we know that a lot of people are in technology, but it's only the creative ones that you hear about. So there's need more creativity, and we know what the computer was like some years back, but see what the computer looks like. We won't know what the telephone looks like before, see what it is. And there's one thing we'd always say is that, I'll give you an example again about Jack Ma. What he did, because Jack Ma is not a technologist, but what he did was he was a teacher. So what he brings is to bring some young people together in his school, and then they were able to look at ideas. When I was talking to University of Kent recently before the COVID, I told the young people, the staff, the students there, that they should go out of the community, because it is not the job of government to look for business, to do business. It's the people, the businessmen. So the government only creates infrastructure, and then the businessmen or the chambers will come out wherever to do business. So it is business about solving problems. I want us to know this. Business is about solving problems. So when issues being raised by Frost, Frost being said, which means there is enough for a lot of people, because when there are problems, then people can go out and find out what is the solution to these problems. It is not over us for us to understand how to create solutions. So let's now, sort of engage young people to find solutions, because there's so much problem. So there's going to be much wealth around. Because the more you solve problems of the people, the more you find solutions to the problem or the community or the environment, the more you progress in life. Because everybody that has gone into solving problems across for communities, they become very rich in society, because they were putting ideas together to solve problems. So we should now find out, how can we get people to be more creative thinkers? That is what we have to do. What are the problems actually that we're facing? How do we do it? This is how we should be developing. And also to get industries to work more closely with universities, because industries, they need those from university, as well as those probably that go business schools, management school. That's part of what we created within our sustainable structures. So thank you very much, what you just said, Rajkumar. And I'm glad that there are few things we're working with you in your institution, and we hope we get a response very shortly. Thank you very much again, Rajkumar. So I'd like to call on Ashe Pasalka to talk to us, please. Ashe, please talk to us, please. Thank you. Ashe, over to you.
Hi, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. It was pleasure. I mean, it is pleasure to listen to everybody. There are very insightful views from Abdul sir and even Christopher and Manisha madam has shared, because the priority of this I mean, the objective of the entire conference is to bridge the gap between Asia and Africa. And to go into that, first I'll need to introduce myself. I am an educationalist by profession. Basically, I've done my engineering and an MBA. Then I've worked in private sector for retail and apparel chains. After that, I again came into education, and I have been assistant professor in University of Pune Driven College. I'm from marketing department, and after that, I was feeling the need of understanding what is the latest going on in the marketing. So I switched gears and learned digital marketing. And from past 2 to 3 years, more than that rather, I have been practicing digital marketing. And I'm also acting as a consultant on edtech startups. Those startups are operating again in building the entire ecosystem of education, where each stakeholder is connected to each other. Because what happens in regular work, that each entity is operating in its silos, and it is not collaborating, or it is not coordinating with the other entities which are there. So there is a gap. There is a lot of gaps which are to be filled up. So I said, why not I can come into picture and do my best to bridge whatever things I can with my little knowledge and experience. So through that, I am in contact with various education institutes in Maharashtra per se, that to engineering and management spheres, and we are conducting various exercises for them. Those could be connecting industry to academia, because currently, especially if you talk about India, there is lot of gap between industry expectations and students' expectations, or education institutes' expectations from the industry. As I was saying, that each entity is operating in silos. So education institute thinks that it is for giving the academic excellence only most of the times, but that is not the case in real life. As Christopher was also mentioning, that the AI, if AI is coming into picture after the 10 years, most of the jobs are going to, I mean, most of the people will lose their jobs. So basically, rather than going for academic excellence only, how we can build up the entire ecosystem together, so that every stakeholder can give and take in the entire system, so that it would be a mutual growth for all. And from this point, I mean, on this point I work, and it has been more or less two years again. I started this exercise in pandemic, and I received a great response, because in the pandemic everything was locked down, and people were forced to sit at their homes and connect to the entire world through the internet only. So this gave me an opportunity to interact with many faculties, many industrialists, or people operating in the corporate sector, and as well as students. So I found that if we work on this sector, and we could fill up the gaps which are there, and to make the entire system more effective, more efficient. So that will be a good as a that would be the best opportunity for a society as whole. And as Mr. Abdul was mentioning, that in Africa there is a lot of talent available, but less of opportunities, and less of because of the colonialism, there was less opportunities for the regular youth. So can we collaborate from India and Africa through various means? And I may help in connecting education institutes to the institutes in Africa, with the help of Dr. Abdul and the eminent speakers and attendees of this meeting. So that was a small introduction about me, and it was pleasure. I thank Abdulji as well as all the fellow participants who gave me the opportunity and listened to me, listen to me. And thank you all once again. And would like to be in your community with this note. Thank you.
Thank you very much, HK. Thank you. Really appreciate, and we will be in contact with you and see what areas you can add value to what we're trying to do as an organization, bringing across the developing countries. At this stage, I'd like to invite, she was the first woman to be on this program today, and we want to thank Her Excellency Samantha Gifty Bukari, who has been, I would say, very inspiring to the efforts we're making as an organization. I think we met in Dubai when I was asked by the Institute of Directors to speak on business excellence in Dubai. She was then the Consul General of the government of Ghana in United Arab Emirates. And at the moment now, she's now also again the Director General, the Consul General, of the Federal Republic of Ghana in Nigeria. So I'd like to call Dr. Her Excellencies Samantha Gifty Bukari to address us. Thank you. His Excellency Samantha Bukari there? Please address us. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you very much for bringing me into this very important meeting. And I want to appreciate all the speakers for their wonderful ideas and contributions. I am Samantha, as you rightly introduced me, but I'm a professional teacher. I have 40 years at all levels, from primary, that is basic, to JHS, to secondary school, to training college, until I retired in 2012. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So from all that you have been saying, that my contribution is that education is very, very key to the development of Africa, particularly, and Asia, and mostly other developing nations. Because once you educate the human resource, you have solved half of your problems of the country. Why do I say this? One learned educationist in Ghana said that if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. Meanwhile, if you educate a man, you educate an individual. So generally, education is really, really key to our development. So let's center around technology, because that is where we are lacking. Professional skills, skill acquisition, functional skills that can help majority of our youth. Because we cannot all go academic. We cannot all become medical doctors. We cannot all become engineers. We cannot all become lawyers. But somewhere along the line, if we have skill training for our youth, that means in the technical vocational area, in the science and maths sector,
Able to hear. Able to hear you. Could you get closer to the mic, please?
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Sorry. Can you hear me now?
No, are you able to get a bit closer to the mic or where?
Hello.
Headphone, please. Please. Can everybody else switch off the mics, please?
Sorry. Harry.
Now, please again.
Can you hear me now?
I think it's better. It's getting better.
It's getting better now?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I want to suggest that whatever we do for education in the universities, we should try to bring in the girl child. The girl child is key to our development because, as I've already said, if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. Hello? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think there's a problem here. Okay.
Trying to see what else from my hand, and I don't think so.
Okay. So go ahead. Another person. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you can't hear me. Sorry, you cannot hear me.
I think, Marcia, I think it's a bit, we can manage with that, isn't it, Marcia?
Harry. I'm sorry. You can't hear me now. So maybe next time. Hello.
Please go ahead. We can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Oh, really? I would
Yeah.
just say that the girl child should always be brought into, the life of whatever education, for the various stages of education. Because when we educate the girl child, in areas where has been the presence of men, it can go a long way to develop our country. For example, let's take in the security services, in aviation, in politics, engineering, technology. The girl child has always been prevented, not prevented as such, but not encouraged from the very basic, particularly in the learning of science and mathematics, to make them interested in science subjects. As a result, we always reserve the sciences for men. So I am suggesting that the girl child should be given opportunity, equal opportunity as the male counterparts at all stages of our educational levels. So the university level, if they can make if they can branch into TVET, technical vocational skills association, that's always good. That's also good because tourism now is an area that would have fetched us a lot of money. But our tourism is not. Music, drama, creative arts, clean industry, people tend not to respect these areas of the industry. It is wrong. Because we cannot do as a world without entertainment. Look at where our musicians are now. Look at actresses, people in the industry where it has taken the world to. So I want us to concentrate on how we can move in the girl child into all sectors of education. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Really appreciate. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry to hear you.
No. Thank you, Excellency, for the contribution. Like I said earlier, we're inspired by your continuous support. We appreciate you. I'll be calling on Mary Hall, who is based in the United States. But before then, my colleagues are also say I should extend their warm regards to you, Your Excellency, for the support, and that we look forward to your very full support as we intend to launch the ASDON Africa in Ghana in January, which is just a couple of weeks coming. So we look forward to your full support. We appreciate you, and you're most welcome again to our weekly events.
I wish you all well. I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I'd like to call on Mary Hall, who was supposed to be with us since we started. So Mary, if you're still there, could you speak to us, please, Mary Hall? Mary has just said that she will be joining shortly. She's been on the line for a while. And if I could now call on, I call on Nakisha Prince to please speak with us, please. Nakisha. Nakisha, talk to us, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you,
Hi,
Dr.
Nakisha, how are
Apple.
you? You're welcome.
I'm grateful, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm grateful. My name is Nakisha Prince Haynes, and I am joining from Barbados. I am a motivational speaker, author. I also mentor kids from the age of 14 to 18. I mentor them in the area of oratory skills, teaching them public speaking, how to do debating skills as well. Because I believe that if we instill value in our youths from a young age, then when they grow older, they will have that value to work with in joining a college or also going out there in the world of work. In addition to mentoring them in the oratory skills, I also teach life coaching skills as well, because I am a life coach and a business coach. And with life coaching skills, I teach them things, for example, how to identify themselves without their name. Who are you without your name? And sometimes even in asking adults to identify themselves without their name, it's a challenge. Who are you without your titles? It's a challenge. So I believe that if we instill those values in our youths, then when they grow older, it will be of benefit to them. I also teach them to identify their self-value, to identify their self-worth. List your strengths, your weaknesses, what are you good at? And in doing so, again, it helps a lot. So I've seen tremendous changes while working with the youths. I'm also a big advocate in speaking standard English. And when I say standard English, I do not believe in using jargons and pause fillers, because in doing so, sometimes it takes away from the message and what you're trying to get over, because you gotta realize when you're speaking to a crowd, you are speaking to persons from different level. And I've seen it happen more than once, because I was a member of Toastmasters International, and that's where I got my background in public speaking. And from working with Toastmasters International, I realized that sometimes when you're speaking on stage and you're listening to persons and someone is talking and it's but and those long pause fillers, you lose the attention of your listeners. So with my children, I teach them to eliminate the jargons and the pause fillers. And I remember one day I could not attend online, because I teach online classes, and I could not attend classes because I was away. And the students, when I got back the next week, like, Miss, don't ever leave us again, because they brought in someone to fill my position and they called her the ham lady, because everything that she was saying, it was a ham, and it was very disturbing to them. But at first, when they started, they were using the same arms and butt and pause fillers. But in continually working with me, they get to realize that it become a burden and it takes away from the message. So they were able to eliminate those arms, jargons, and pause fillers. And now they can speak boldly and bravely in front of any crowd. So I'm really, really proud of them. And I love working with youths.
So thank you very much for your contribution, and for at least the more we care about children, the more we will have a better, what I call it, more gracious life when we get older, because the children are the father of man. And so as you grow older, you become a child. And so if you don't take care of the child, end of the day when you grow older, it's going to look after you. So you have to give more support. And that's why we're saying that we should invest more in our children rather than having to invest on prisons, where we talk about even which has turned into business today. It has become commercialized. So we should look more and put more investment on children. So we thank you for what you're doing there. So we will connect with you as we move on. So at this stage, I'd like to call on, thank you, most appreciated. Before I call on Christopher Abraham, could we speak Dr. Soshan Isoka to please address us? Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Soshan. And Dr. Prasad, we know you're right there. We thank you very much for being the rock also of this forum. We appreciate you so that you can give us an update on text. So over to you, Dr. Soshan. Please address us. Thank you. Thank you once again, Nakisha. Dr. Soshan, over to you, please. While we're waiting for Dr. Soshan, we ask Christopher to please come in. And then Novella, thank you for the patience. So we'll now ask, if you could talk to us now, that's Christopher Abraham. Over to you, please.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Depending on where you are in the world, hope you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I feel very honored to be among you great people. I tell you, it's a wonderful platform for me. And I see many people that share the same dream, the same passion like I do. I spoke last week about what I'm passionate about. And as I come here the second time, I get more insight, I get more wisdom. I see the opportunities for partnership forging on this forum, and I'm glad about it. I'd like to run with it. And I look forward to having some of you here in Nigeria, standing side by side with me and then being agents of change, real change, not just talking as we have mentioned here. We should actually be doing it practically. I'm passionate about teacher development and learning in Nigeria. I believe that Nigeria has the best brains in the world. This country is loaded. It is rich. Go to the slums, go to any part of the country, the length and breadth of the country. I live in the north, and I know it's a volatile place, but I see great potential as I speak with the people. And the lady that spoke last, Nakisha, I'm a Toastmaster too. So listening to you speak just put a smile on my face that I find a Toastmaster on this forum, it's a pure delight. And I want to urge us all not to give up. That's the importance of my message to you today. I don't want to go over the same thing we have talked about last week or repeat what we have said. But one thing I want to talk about is not giving up. We can actually be that change we're looking out for. We can be agents of change from our little corner. Let's keep at it. Let's keep doing what you're doing. Those efforts will really count. I'm a product of a good teacher. I was a boy who could not even speak or express himself because I was a stammerer. I had delayed speech disorder as a child, and no one knew. They thought I was deaf and dumb. It took a good teacher, a Ghanaian teacher, Johnson Boahene Akwansinsi, that's his name. It took that man to discover me and work with me and turn me to who I am today. And I told myself I was going to be a teacher, and that's who I am, and I'm proud I'm one. So let's keep at it, let's keep doing it, and I look forward to more collaboration, and I look forward to learning more from this forum. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you. And we took note of what you just said, and I'm glad that you could see some points in what we're doing. Like we said, it's a weekly event. Next week, we're going to bring another 12 people who are experts in the various field to come and address us and talk to us on how best we can achieve the objectives that we set for ourselves. Before I call, I would like to call Alima will probably give us the vote of thanks, if you would mind. If Marcy has something to say, she could speak to us and ask Dr. Lakshmi Prasad to give us, I will always say, an update, because it's working on the ground to see how much we can make the event in April in India a very successful one. So if Marcia, you want to address us, then we will ask Dr. Prasad to talk to us, and then Halima will cross the way. But even before then, if you don't mind, with all due respect, can we ask Dr. Novella to talk to us very briefly, please? Dr. Novella, over to you. Dr. Novella, Jackson.
Good evening, good day, greetings to everyone that is here. I am Dr. Novella Jackson. I am in the US. I actually, my background is in business. I have a finance accounting background. My doctorate and dissertation was on defending, looking at corporate structures and how they need to value their stakeholders more. And the reason I say that, one of the problems that I see that is prevalent even more now today is that when companies don't care about the communities where people live, to me, I think they're doing a disservice, and it's all about greed. And what I've seen is, people live in areas many times that's making money for companies. You may live in a gun-ridden neighborhood and you got to travel the bus to come to this company, which is many times residing within those communities. And so you making money for them, yet they don't care about the issues and things that you're concerned about. You may be a single mom or single dad and you're coming to work for them, but yet you go back home to gun violence or dealing with children on drugs or whatever. And I bring that full circle in terms of talking about stakeholders. One of the things that is important, even in this effort and what you're trying to do here and others and bring to the table, we have to be involved in the communities that we service in order for us to bring these children. Many times the things they face, they can't get out. I heard a young man say some time ago that the young people, they didn't see anybody that added value to help them other than rappers and strippers, but there's more out there in the world than that. And young people need to be able to see that. They need to see individuals like myself to say that I care. Maybe I didn't live, but I care enough that I want to reach back to help you and spend some time and talk to them. This is how we help bridge those gaps in those communities to help our youth and our young people. Young people can't be helped unless us adults do the work first. We have to do the work first. As they say on the airplane, put the mask on yourself first and then you help others. We've got to do the work. And as I've heard mentioning, and this is about belaboring the points of things that's been shared before, it's not about going back and having what I call kumbaya moments and talk about all the great things that we're doing, but we have to take action. And the actions that we take, we need to be able to bring these back to forums like this or to stakeholders to say, this is what we need to do. This is what I am doing. One of the things, and I'm going to put myself on that spot first. One of the things that I do, I make it my business in whatever business I'm in, or even I had a part-time job recently, and there's a bunch of young people working in, it was a grocery store just recently, which is a part-time job for some side money for Christmas. And I made it my business to reach out to these young, and they were young men, mostly African American. Many of them had no clue about anything other than, okay, I got this job and make money. I said, so what are your aspirations? What are your dreams? I didn't ask them about their goals, because most of the time I'm finding out, even with a granddaughter that I have of my own who's 21, you ask them that, they're confused. I don't know. That's their word. I don't know. So to prevent them from saying I don't know and to have a dialogue is I ask them about what are your wishes? What are some of your dreams? What are your wants? What are your needs? And they begin to share. I found young people begin to share everything. And when I do that, I say, okay, well, let's tap into that. That's when I see a spark start going in eyes, because they say, wow, she cares about, versus that's me, oh, my goals. Okay, everybody wants me to go to college, or everybody, and they can't think of that because they're really not there. And a lot of it's because the issues that young people are dealing with are so grave. They are nothing compared to the things we're dealing with the bullying, the insecurities, the lack of confidence, the self-esteem. A lot of this stems from their home, their environments that they come out of. They have nothing to look forward to, or they come from broken home. There's no two-parent home. That's almost unheard of for most families, these young people, to see a two-parent home. And if they do, it's the two-parent home ideal. Is it really realistic? Not like what's on TV, but how do we really live and how do we really make it? So those are things that I do. And that's the thing that I project and adding value to this. I want to be able to show that I'm not just a talker, I'm a doer, which I am. I go make things happen one person at a time. And it starts with educating them. It starts with talking to them. It's communicating on that level. I always ask my granddaughter, I said, what are the things that you guys are faced with? And we talk about it. I have dialogues with her. And then I go out and apply that stuff to young people that I meet. So I work with I mentor young men and women, but I also work with the mothers, because a lot of come from single home. I work with the mothers and deal with the brokenness. When I work with them and deal with that brokenness, that begins to provide healing tool that now they can take back and pass to their children to break those generational curses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Novella. I appreciate you. And we take note of what you just said. You know, we believe that there's quite a number of people like you who really care about ensuring that all the children can live a better life. That's part of what we're here for, to make sure that children do not go through what some of us
the love that we share
have gone through in life. So we thank you again for being with us, and we hope to see you again next week, Dr. Novella. And thank you, Elia, for your wonderful prayers. And at this stage, I would like to call Dr. Prasad. I'm still expecting Massima is right here. So we'll ask Massima to give you an overview. But before then, Dr. Prasad will give us an update. And then we'll ask Alima to please give us the closing prayers, at least to thank the Lord that has allowed us to be able to meet today. And also will put us together for next week. For all that we pray to achieve, that He will ensure that we do achieve them. So over to you, Marcia.
We are together as the global south. All the people connecting in collective intelligence. As God is going places in the heart and the neuron connections. So we thank you all for being part of this collective that loves all and is all connecting all the time. The new solutions for environmental sustainability with ability to change everything and everyone in this, in love, kindness, and kinship. We are together on this. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate you. Thanks a lot again, and wonderful. You always put, I don't know how to call it, but you actually spine everybody's soul, the body itself, because we need something to really, and for us to spend this long, and yet you look as if we just started 5 minutes ago, so not even weighed out. So thank you for the freshness again that you're putting, but well, we have to come to a close. Just like we have another week to face, and we'd love people to come and talk to us. But before we call, and Alima to please give us a word of please to help us close in prayer to thank God. I think this is something we should take every time when we can sing to ourselves. We call Dr. Prasad to give us an update from his end, and we'll ask Dr. Alima to kindly also give us the closing prayers. So over to you, Dr. Prasad.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are. This is Lakshmi Prasad from South India, Bangalore. And it has been a great evening. This is the 9th meeting I think I am attending. Ms. Deniman, and it has been a great updating to me knowledge-wise. I was always thinking it is a physical fracture that we are considering. So I was only talking about oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, climate, and all these things. So the solution I was talking. Truly, today I think I heard 15 speakers, and many of them, almost all of them, were talking about education, and all of them were talking about being one, being united, being a family. We call these kind of meetings here in India satsang, and this kind of attitude and this kind of situation as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, wherein all of us has to feel like one family. So from Dr. Sharma, Misha Sharma, up to Dr. Nevela Jackson, it has been education. The education, which is very important, educating youths, educating disabled people, educating people who are in need, educating people who are affected by COVID, and all these aspects are absolutely inspiring. All these aspects are point blank on healing the fracture, the social fracture. See, there was projection for 2030 from one young guy from India, Dr. Rajkumar, if I'm right, and there has been a lot of updates on the social aspects mainly. So, but with that, I'm preparing widely. I'm preparing students to widely accept the challenges of the climate, the challenges of the fractures that we are getting through this oxygen coming down, carbon dioxide going up, temperature going up, water level, sea level going up. All these aspects, how we can heal it. We are talking also about healing, how we can heal it. I'm trying to educate architecture students, civil engineering students on these aspects. In this direction, I've selected two people, one who is also in London, and he will, and one in US. Both of them are elderly, and they are the best in the world. They are going to join us in the next meeting. So with this, I feel absolutely humble, and I feel absolutely fortunate to be in a meeting of this kind. And I'm very happy, and I'm thankful to the Almighty for giving this opportunity, and for all of you to talk something what I know, to share something what I learned, to understand what I have to do to make this April function a grand success. And whatever is possible from my end to the last breath, I'm going to be on this. Thank you very much, and namaste from Bangalore, South India.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad. We really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you're talking to your colleagues, the architects, and also send us the two names and then also their contacts, and then we'll be able to put them for the 10th forum, which comes up next week, I think the 2nd of December. Thank you once again, Dr. You've been there with us throughout the 9th forum, and I'm glad that you're not tired, and you seem to say that even today, there's so much that you've taken in, and that we're all speaking in one voice, which is about partnership. We talk about transparency, and we talk about togetherness, and we talk about one thing which one of us is one of the co-chair of this forum, a wonderful lady, a wonderful queen, a wonderful president. You can't even say much about who she is, but she said something, I think it was about 2 days ago when they had the gold convention in Dubai. And after me talking about gold and what he says about humanity. So I like to call on Dr. Leila Rehol to speak with us. And then after that, we'll have Sanjay to speak. And then we can ask Dr. Alima from Maldives to give us the closing prayers. So over to you, Dr. Leila Rehol. We appreciate you. And thanks. I know you're very busy everywhere, both in Africa, Asia, and the States, the West. So please speak to us, Dr. Rehol. That's Dr. Leila Rehol. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellencies. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, all our ambassador and share people with us, a mentor, doctor, lawyer, all the names who are contributing to this great platform. Today, together, we make a difference. Together, we make impact, and together, we build a nation. This foundation is creating a big challenge and direction for the humanity and also prosperity to educate, to empower, and to give the red carpet for all of us how to implement our knowledge. And I see and I heard also how you are challenging us. My lady, she sing for us and she give us a good vibe, positive vibe. Together, yes, together always. My apology if I did not attend the previous two sessions because I was traveling to Africa. As you know, I have platform called IamAfrica.net. It's for the lovers of Africa, no matter whom you are, from where you are, which religion, which mindset. Like I say always, we speak one currency, is humanity. The humanity is the most expensive currency in the world, which we have to maintain. And we have to build that record to build the nation. Professor, I am so grateful and happy to be part of your great platform and looking forward for more contributions and collaboration because we need each other, we need together. Thank you again. God bless you all and blessing Friday to all of you.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to you speaking to us more in the next forum. We know how busy you are, but please kindly, because we do appreciate you, and also as you're a star among many that we've seen in our time. So we believe that with your support, we can achieve our goals, and also you're connected, also because one of the things we're really concerned about, today we're living in two worlds, and until we live in one world, the world will be better. We create what we call people who we put in governments. At the end of the day, even though we put them there, we now sort of divide ourselves as if we're not part of the system. And we need to know that we need to live together, work together, whether you are there in the government or you're outside the government, we're all one government, we're all one society. So we like to bring people. Today now we had opportunity to have the Director General of the Curriculum and Assessment of Education in Ghana, who spoke earlier. Before you came in also, we have Excellency Samantha Gifty Bukhari, who used to be the Consul General of Ghana in Dubai, but now she's Consul General for Ghana in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, we're having an event on the 16th of December, and then we will be launching the ASDON Africa in Ghana in the 14th of, I think, 24th of January to mark the International Day of Education, as well as making sure that through that momentum we're creating, we can now ensure that we have not less than 40% of foreign guests, foreign participants to go to India for the launch itself of the Global South University Association. Because what we're doing is never been done before, and I think it's just to ensure that because we're all doing great jobs, just like what you're doing, but at the end of the day, we are not breaking the highs. And that's why the World Economic Forum said we're in a fractured world. Ours is, how can we lay that foundation that can start creating the enabling environment for change? That's what we're asking for. Because even the UN does not have the answer. But we have sent our 3-point solutions to them. And we believe that by the time together, we can launch the GSUA in India, then we can have Modi, Prime Minister Modi, to invite all the heads of government, particularly the Global South, to sit together and look at the 3-point solution or any other solution that can ensure that we can start to deal with the world that we have. If only we can trust each other. And the answer has been said by the UN high-level panel that met in 2013 in Bali. They said a new global partnership. They said people-centered policies. But we're deviating from it. We came with 17 goals, distracting a lot of people from the main thing for us to lay the foundation. So we've been to the height of the UN and put our case through. We're working through our own strategy since we have the mandate from all the university associations across developing countries. So we have that. So all we need is to build something different. So this weekly event is just to bring technocrats together so that we're not just putting the cart before we put the horse before the cart by getting people that will work within that research center we're talking about. We believe that with your support and other colleagues that are very much like you talk about humanity, let's bring humanity back. Let's bring ethics back to our education. People have talked about here how many people are going to lose their job because of the Industrial Revolution. We need to be up to the task particularly for developing countries, so that we can reduce that divide, which continues to increase. That is our mission. That's our objective. Thank you once again. And I know we'll be talking more later regarding how we can. Maybe you can just say one little word to what I've just said before I call Dr. Alima to give us the prayer for closing prayer. Or Sanjit will speak before Dr. Alima, please, since I already said she will speak.
Sushant is here. Shall we ask him to speak?
Who?
Sushant.
Sushant is here. Yeah, Sushant, I've had Sushant, I've sent something to him. So let's, Dr. Alima, if she can say, Excellency, do you want to say a word or two before I call on Sushant?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Alima. Thank you, Dr. Abdul, for this opportunity. It's a privilege to be on this platform and share my views on education and mental health, because these are the two main topics which I deal with since last 1 decade, and been in this field to assist and help students to create records, innovations, and research. So I'm proud to launch my 32nd student on 6th of December, wherein he is going to recite an 8-year-old kid who is going to recite 184 IT acronyms. And this is again at this small age, because I see that we all believe that age is just a number. But apart from this, age is also much more beyond not only numbers, but understanding of different aspects and the maturity which the children have got today, and the way they have got the resources available with them. So we have been fortunate to connect, collaborate with different organizations who are not only supporting us in terms of resources, but are supporting us in terms of intellect, in terms of human resource, intellect in terms of technology, and in terms of way of dealing with different aspects of life, because there are a lot of things which each one of us complement and supplement. So I'm very happy that we are also connected in South Africa, Dubai, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and I recently we have a discussion with Emmanuel, and we are planning to be there in South Africa in a month of January. So I have my first visit in Dubai and Kuwait from 13 to 22nd of January. And then I'm planning to maybe end January or early February first week, we are planning to go to South Africa. So that there is a huge scope and opportunity, and a lot of collaborations and networking can be done in this platform. So I thank Dr. Abdul for connecting like-minded people, stalwarts from different areas and experience, and having a lot of wisdom. So it's a complete learning process which goes on every Friday. And I really thank the entire team for creating this wonderful network of like-minded people and a network of collaborators and intellectual resources. So thank you, Dr. Abdul, for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Soshan, and so for also recognizing some very good people and, at least recommending them to this forum. We thank you for that. We should appreciate that. And I'm glad to appreciate that publicly. Thank you. And also, I know you're a man of action, and we have some duties for you, which we share with you, because we now need to start looking at because we do have these events recorded. So we'll be looking at these, we do SWOT analysis on all our speakers, and then we look at their strengths and see how they can be able to contribute to the kind of thing we're talking about, because this is a very big task which we're taking on, and that's why we're not minding the time it takes us to be able to ensure that we put the right peg in the right hole. And that's why we're taking our time and trying to reach people, younger people, elderly, middle age, so that we can have a consensus of a lot of ideas, that will help us to ensure that we have so that even the West, that's a measure, to learn from developing countries. And I believe that if you look at the example of India, when it comes to technology, I mean, the West will know that there is a lot that they can learn from even India. So we want to ensure that the West they can learn, particularly model of education, particularly issue of ethics, issue of humanity, which are very important. So thank you very much, Dr. Soshen. So at this stage, I think, Sajid, if you could just quickly brief us a little bit also what we've been doing as an organization, how you've been able to ensure that we visit area of agriculture, because we are going to ensure that a lot of young people, we're going to start what they call an agrarian evolution through our television station we created, which is called Asmon Digital Television. So that we have a section that will be dealing more with agriculture, because a lot of young people should be looking at agriculture, because at the end of the day now, with ordinary war within Russia and Ukraine, we're talking about wheat, and then we're talking about pork. Even now, everywhere now, food is very expensive. So we need to then look at it. Why? Because most people do not even look at interest that we need to teach people, at least how to farm, right from childhood, how to farm, so that they can be independent when it comes to living. So over to you, Sajid says. Thank you again, Dr. Soshen.
Thank you, Diwali sir. Thank you for inviting me to give some words about my feelings from this part of India. Normally, I used to speak about the organic cultivation, organic farming, and for the student welfares, like in scholarships and all. Recently, just a few days back, one matrices I got to know that about 1 lakh labor, skilled and unskilled, they leave every day from India to reach some part of the world to search some sort of job. Normally, they do some skilled, some unskilled, and some odd jobs. They are leaving India for for searching for a better world. The idea strike to my mind is I'm not against people those going out to for searching a better future for their families. But at one point of time, we have to think about the things that these unskilled people are going, and they are going, and they are wasting their lot of time and energy over there as a unskilled labor for years and years before they gain some experience, or before they are adopted as a skilled workers. The time is that besides the higher education, the universities and the technocrats and educationists, we have to thought about these young generation. They are unskilled. We have to provide them some skilled knowledge so that wherever they go in the world, they could be absorbed as a skilled workers, and they could be a better citizen for our planet. Not just for India, because India is a big population. I understand that 135 crore population, maybe the jobs, maybe the opportunities are not enough in the country. Although we are a growing economy, like all other parts of the world, there are certain problems everywhere. But this problem is one, I think this is a uniform problem for all third world countries. Most of the people, they are going out, they are going for the search of the jobs, going for the better future. But they are, most of these are unskilled labor. If we could have a structured planning that the university join hands and we deliver some sort of course material that these people should be given 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. There's some sort of the skill training at the affordable cost or at no cost, so that they could wherever they go, they could find a skilled job.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head. And just to let you know, because we've been on for a while, and I think since you came in, we should also let you speak. And I'm glad you spoke, because earlier on, we had the Director General of the Curriculum and Assessments in Ghana. He's been able to let us know that a lot is going on in Africa. We know that also in India, there was a new policy on education by the government of Prime Minister Modi. So what I would say is that we'll keep you, since you're part of the organization, so we'll try and look at also your interest in the area of curriculum and assessments, okay? So that through that, because if you want to change the system, you have to create a structure. You don't create that structure, you would all just be talking. And I think that's why the UN said we don't have sustainable structures. So what we're trying to do is to have, how do we have sustainable structures? And it's ensuring that whatever we're doing is very inclusive. And that's why you need to address the curriculum and assessment. And what you said here now is like, you were not here when the speaker spoke from Ghana, but it's like you're now calculating everything that he said. So we would like to put you among those. Marcia is here, who will be looking at usual curriculum assessment. So we'll be linking with the head of the African Union curriculum assessment, and we also look at the ones in Asia. We look at the one in Arab countries, and we'll match these three together so that they can share ideas and see how best they can fill it into what you say now about those you call on skill. Well, we just call them on skill. Everybody is skilled, so it's the language labeling that has been affecting us in terms of making sure everybody is useful. So there's nobody you can say is on skill. Everybody is skilled to a level, but it's just to bring people down, you say they're on skill. If somebody doesn't clear your garden or clear your streets or dumps, everybody's going to die because there is so much waste there and nobody can bring good air, and yet you call them unskilled. And so the language we use, we look at issue of labeling, it has created a lot of problems. So I want to thank you very much again, Sajid, for coming in, even though you knew that you were so busy, but you ensured you must join us before we end up. So thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody that's been here. You've been wonderful. We're learning every day. We're bringing new people. And please, even if you're not a speaker today or a speaker today, please come over again. The internet makes it easy for more of us to learn from it. And we're glad we're all on the internet. So we will have people making comments and the rest of it through the YouTube that we just put on. And also we'll be launching our own Asgon digital television station. So at least then I like Dr. Alima, very patient right from the beginning to give us at least a prayer to close as we started with a prayer. God bless you all. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. And ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Halima Sadia from Maldives. Today is an International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, 25th November. And WHO says that 1 in 3 women is victim of suffering the violence, either emotional, physical, mental, or sexual violence. I am fortunate, Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Almighty, that I am among 66% women. That's why I am here in this forum, equally speaking with you all, with all male counters. So I thank Almighty for that. My 2 questions are always there for everyone. Who is driving your car? In whose hand is your steering? These are 2 common questions that I ask everybody, all the youth, students, adults, because in most of the cases I have found during my 29 years of experience that the people do the task not out of their own will, but out of some other pressures. So they don't take the responsibility and accountability of their own life. That's why I am into personal leadership and self-management course, and I advocate for that. And for that reason, I organize every year award ceremony for the leaders. And this year I am organizing in Singapore on 3rd January. You all are invited for that. So thank you very much. Now coming to the prayer part. Prayer is the integral part of my life. I pray 5 times. And always I am thankful to Almighty for making me as I am, because I don't want to copy anyone else. I'm unique. And that's what is my quality, that I'm unique. So let's pray to Almighty to bless our family assembled here. May Almighty bless His choice blessings on us. May this family be united always. May Almighty give us wisdom, strength, and courage to fulfill our duties and responsibilities towards our community, towards our nation, towards our globe. And may this community be working towards the goal with pure intention, with the intention of doing the betterment for this country, for this nation, for this globe. And we are here to establish justice. We are not here to live alone, because alone we don't have any existence. So let us live together and let us try to establish justice with everyone. Justice means that justice of social justice, economical justice, environmental justice, in all sorts of justice. So let's work towards that. And I'm thankful to Mr. Abdul, who has started his journey. And now we can see that how his Karwa is growing and growing every time. And there is a very famous couplet that मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर लोग साथ आते गए और कारवा बनता गया. It means that I started alone, but the people have accompanied me, and now we are in the shape of a karwa. So this is a karwa started by Mr. Abdul. I congratulate him, and I pray for all his success, happiness, joy, and accomplishment of his goal to Allah Almighty and to all the gods whomsoever you believe in. May Almighty bless us always. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Halima. And I would like to do one thing. We do appreciate it. We had you. For Marcia, please, because we need to remember this day, it says that if you educate a woman, you educate the whole world. You know, which means if you enrich a woman, you enrich the whole world. And so if you violate the rights, of a woman and you violently abuse a woman, then definitely you are abusing the whole world. So Marcia, can you like a song on this special day of the International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women on this platform to at least acknowledge that with a song from Marcia Ma. Marcia, please over to you, because I know any second you can come out with fantastic words that will resonate in our heads and I will always remember, so that people will always be mindful not to be violent on any woman. You must respect a woman because a woman is the world, So over to you, Marcia. Thank you very much again, Dr. Halima. Over to you, Marcia. Just a song on this special day.
On behalf of all our mothers, ancestors, and Mother Earth, we want the peace embrace of love that is eternity, embracing the life of us all. For one and three women embrace all the other sisters and the brothers in the siblinghood of humanity. We find a new way of being together, finding peace. Skin is a point of contact like this. Goodbye violence, goodbye the old ways where the oppression of patriarchal social order, hierarchical, can go away, and now we have equity and equality of all voices like this. For we love the world and all the children, for we love our sisters and we honor their wisdom. We are all together on this. I don't know how this is. We are the same embodiment of the global love, the totality of our being, the sacred in each cell, in bio communication of love eternity. May we all be blessed with the love, the wisdom, and the care that women have fostered for thousands of years. And now in leadership, may we transform the world into one that is embracing of equality for all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. And just a word for every man on earth. If you feel you are hurt by a woman, please take a long, deep breath. And then breathe out, and I can tell you, you will understand that you need to respect a woman. God bless you all. I appreciate it. See you next week. Bye-bye. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Love for all. Global love. Global love.
Thank you.
Global love.
Love you all. And thank you, Nadeem. And thank you, Brijesh. Thank you, Christopher.
All right, bye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad. We appreciate you, Dr. Novella. We appreciate you. So once again, Nadeem, thank you for at least staying behind after duty work in our office there in India at the Meridian Hotel. And we thank you also, Brijesh, for standing behind to ensure we get things done. Well, I'm looking at Sajid now, and we're going to make sure the agrarian revolution becomes to stay, and we can mobilize a lot of young people to go to be interested in producing their own food. That is agriculture for you. God bless you all. Bye for now. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you.